Kilpailussa mukana Ramirent. Kotikatsomon eväät tarjoaa Kotipizza.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Round 2 Front 9 FPO coverage here in Turku, Finland, the third stop of the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour. This coverage is brought to you by Natural Born Disc Golfer. Thank you guys for sharing it with us here at Gatekeeper Media. This commentary is brought to you by Parked Podcast. My name is Mitch Phillips. Joining me is Hayden Riccard. How are you?
Doing good. Look like we have a lot of rain coming in, maybe some heavy winds, so it's going to be a tough round for these ladies.
Yeah, definitely important to have scored well in the first round. Our leader after one, Eveliina Salonen, sitting at -2.
And Henna Blomroos just right behind her. She's not far. Capitalize on momentum and make the putts that she missed yesterday.
Yeah, it's going to be a big way to correct some distance coming out from Heidi Laine, sponsored by Dynamic Discs. Had an up and down round, but definitely able to attack. Excited to see how she's going to do today. And another familiar face to the tour, Anna-sofia Haipus, sponsored by Discmania. Had a streak of bogeys there in the middle of the round, but was able to clean it up and find some birdies towards the end. Let's check in with the top 10 leaderboard.
Yeah, and I mean, between the top 6, top 5, you're not very far off. Between the third and sixth, and then the first and 2, you're not very far. And the rain can definitely put these back into contention.
Yeah, we talked about it in round 1. Some of these holes, especially on the front 9, very short holes that are simple, but when the weather comes in, when the rain, when the wind,
get hard.
For sure. But let's move into hole 1, par 5, 787 feet. Definitely a hole where you're breaking this up in a lot of smaller distances solely because of the hole design. Off the tee, you're going to see a mid-range, try to land just in the wood chips, get safe, and then work your way up the hill to that sloped green.
Ensimmäisenä heittovuorossa tuloksella 61. Eveliina Salonen.
Yeah, and what is already a very touchy drive gets even more difficult. It's a great kick back to the middle, though, still being able to kind of put herself towards the edge of this hallway.
Yeah, I believe she selected a mid-range there to get a little bit more glide, push forward, get as much as she can out of that gap.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the game plan changes in that disc selection specifically with this rain. Just holding on a little bit too long, maybe the grip.
Grip's going to be your biggest fear, your biggest problem today.
Yeah,
grip
no doubt.
and footing.
Let's see how Heidi Laine can adjust. Similar result to Henna. We saw in the previous...
A little bit better kick, but yeah, she's going to have a low ceiling. We've seen it on the tree that hangs over. But she's in the decent spot.
Anna-sofia Haipus. Yeah, and similar. Everyone just pulling a little bit too much. And I feel like, maybe disking up can do that. You want to throw it a little bit softer so your timing can be a little bit off. But it's going to be... trying to see where they're going to be at.
Hole 1 can be difficult.
Yeah.
And it sets the tone for how you're going to play. But if you can capitalize on just being able to hit the fairway, get out, and take your medicine and get up there, then you can change and shift your momentum.
Yeah, and this is a really good recovery shot, putting it where that drive usually is landing. Let's see if Anna-sofia can match. Yeah, that tree just in a reach back, not really being able to pull. Thankfully, it doesn't kick back into the out of bounds. But
just
still,
awkward footing.
Yeah. Not the full reach back able there. Heidi Laine from just left of where Anna-sofia was.
Yeah, just trying to put it center cut of the fairway, get a good look to the second gap, and push as far as you can in the next shot.
For sure. Going to be on that right side. You could hear it catch some leaves on the way out, but finally getting to Eveliina's drive, going big forehand, trying to get all the way out the gap, set herself up.
She gets out.
Yeah.
It's really what you want.
Yeah, now being able to have a straight shot, maybe a little bit hyzer straight up the hill. I mean, that's a great spot to be after 2. Yeah, a lot of torque just coming straight through. I mean, it's such a good positional shot to work out this par 5.
And Heidi going for Anheuser flex, trying to get as far as she can up the hill. But turning it over just a little too much and getting it rolling out. But it is outside of that gap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if you can get out the gap here, is going to the forehand roller, something stable, trying to get it to hook up right. And it just caught the edge of the tee pad in that final tree. Again, going to have a tree in the reach back. Anna-sofia has just got to be ready to get out of these trees.
Just get off this hole, realistically.
There's a really good shot. Hoping that's going to roll down. Looked like it had a lot more distance out of the hand, but just showing the bottom of that disc and letting it just fade. As Eveliina is in full attack, realizing her card mates are struggling. Wow, putting it circle's edge with a look for birdie.
That was a fantastic shot. And Heidi going to put it underneath the basket. This looks really good. Oh, yeah. Just inside circle. And Henna trying to follow suit. She's really good at these approaches. Oh,
Nearly putting it in, but it's going to fall down the hill.
flares the basket.
Yeah. And we've seen a lot of players in there, especially with this rain, that grass it can be one of two things, and it's hard to tell. It's either going to skip a lot or it's going to just grab it and stick.
Hold.
But definitely the worst end of that, being able to skip down the hill. But from the rocks, let's see how Haipus can put this one close.
It's leaking down the hill as well. Gonna be a tester coming back up that hill.
Yeah, she didn't go too far down, so I can still see the basket. Oh, and great height coming out from there. It's pretty rare to see players get enough height as they're going uphill with the wind. Hard to tell. So you can see the difficulty there, just getting pushed down immediately out of the hand for Henna.
And Eveliina for birdie.
She came to play round 2.
Yes, she did. She's like, I'm not messing around in this rain.
Nope.
Put in a charge. Putting some numbers down.
Yeah, and it's a mental thing playing in the rain. I mean, when you can walk in and just feel confident and just say, you know, I get to play in the rain today, compared to like, oh, it's raining, I have to play in this crap. Like, being able to walk in mentally excited. I mean, no one's excited to play in the rain. You'd might have something going on if you're excited to play in the rain.
I don't know about that. But if you feel confident in the rain, you have a better chance.
Yeah. Especially on the putting green, that's where it can get really difficult.
Oh.
That grip, just never feeling like it's correct, but just walking up, maybe shortening your putting routine just a little bit, but not enough to throw you off. Being able to just get in, get out, as we see the unfortunate triple bogey to start there for Haipus. And how did this hole play today with these conditions?
This one played 1.3 over par.
Wow, averaging a par 6.
Yeah.
And the difficulty straight into the round.
Showing it right off the gate.
Yeah.
And as we move into hole 2, par 4, not another easy one. And the rain and the wind coming up 705 feet. Gonna push very far down this hole. Gonna be coming into an OB on the right side and around the basket. See a lot of players try to land up short and play either the sidearm into the green, or you're going over the OB and risking it. And you can end up a little bit long, but still safe.
Yeah. And the wind definitely going to play a factor here. Yeah, going to something just a little bit more overstable. Going to limit the distance, but, I mean, that was pushing It's pretty rare to see the out of bounds come in to play long, but it really comes in towards the approach. But these tee shots really just trying to get out there and choose which side of the fairway you want to be on.
Yeah, which way you want to attack is where you're going to set yourself up to.
Yeah, we saw in round one some players not even bring it in the out of bounds into play, but to play layup to the left side where it's open and then approach for par.
Which is smart. This needs to get back.
Does it hook up in time?
Ooh. I think it's right on the line or out of bounds.
The spotter gives the green flag. That's a sigh of relief. That just flipped up just enough to bring that into play. Similar shot shape to Heidi. This doesn't look like it's coming back in time, though.
Yeah, that one is going to be out of bounds.
We'll see how she does this now. I mean, she's probably too far back to really run the green because that would bring the out of bounds in again. Probably going to see a hyzer play. No, she's going for it. What a shot
had the distance.
There. What a recovery after going out of
and
bounds.
And that's blind, too.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to know your distance there.
Yeah, and to throw a hyzer flip into that.
And this is flipping way too much for Heidi.
She's going to be rethrowing from a similar distance, yeah. Yep, and decides to take the medicine and just push left. But again,
oh my gosh.
So unfortunate. I mean, your nerves get going and you're just rattled. Now having to throw a third shot from, within about a 10-foot distance.
And you know she has the power and the distance to get there.
But the disc selection obviously coming into play. Really giving it the height to get safe here.
Yeah, not trying to go again. Play it safe. Should probably go with a forehand up to the basket or just a backhand that's going to spike hyzer into the green.
Yeah, and that's usually Henna's player. She really likes this high spiking shot into the green. And does it get far enough?
Bounds.
It does look short, you're right. Yeah, she gets the red flag. This out of bounds is so brutal, being that you're attacking the green, but then immediately you're brought so far back, as we see if Eveliina can correct. She pushed this long in round one. And that's the good mistake. That's being on that side.
That is no problem at all. That's what you want to make. Yes, you have a putt coming back to the OB, but you don't lose a stroke.
Henna's trying to figure out where she's going to be taking this from. And this is now where the pressure comes on this hole. Is if you're short on the approach first time, the second time you got to put it close because you're playing with more strokes than you expected. So then the out of bounds can come in again if you short it. But we'll see how she plays this out with this overstable approach disc. Yeah, she has this disc pretty dialed. Anytime it's in her hand, that it's going to be within about 15 feet.
Yeah.
Good correction.
She has no problem with that.
Oh, and just right to almost go through two.
And just short for Anna-sofia.
Thankfully, the rain is already dying down. The wind's definitely still going to be a factor, especially as we continue to climb
into the afternoon.
Yeah, and the putting, if Henna can be confident within about 20, 25 feet, was the biggest thing yesterday that held her back. Unfortunately, starting out with 2 bogeys, but that's the one thing that just stopped her from chasing even closer to Eveliina.
Yeah.
But so far, Eveliina is showing that she's here to strike.
She's not letting up. And I know we're only through 2 holes right now, but
that distance is already 5 strokes.
Yeah. It's huge.
And the quadruple bogey here for Heidi. Not the start she was expecting, but a lot of golf left. It is moving day. You definitely want to be moving in the up direction, but with the conditions, it's definitely going the opposite way so far. Good par from Eveliina. Anna-Sofia walking away with just the solo bogey.
It's a tough hole. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It looks easy because it's open, but that OB can come into play super, super quick. And
yeah.
I mean, talk about OB on this one as well.
Yeah, OB left the entire way. Hole 3, par 3, 410 feet. This one, these players, it's just out of range where it's not really worth going for it, especially in the conditions where you're not maybe super confident in your grip or your footing. Most likely going to see some overstable drivers just trying to put it close, maybe in that circle 2 range. If you're feeling really confident, you can go for it, but most of the time, this hole's playing very, very close to par.
We saw Eveliina in the first round with the only birdie look at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd be surprised to see 2, 3 birdies on the day on this hole. We'll see how our car decides to attack.
This looks really good out of Henna's hand. And a forward skip. And
wow, that forward skip was huge.
yeah, it was. That puts her in contention for the birdie.
Yeah. In that range, that was a tester for her all-round one. 3 holes in, I mean, definitely needed to make that correction to be able to get back into the charge.
And Anna just playing for the big hyzer and gets caught up in the trees. Anna-Sofia, sorry.
Heidi definitely having the distance to attack here. Yeah, after after the big number on 2, I mean, she definitely has distance. We saw, if you haven't watched the first stop of the Prodigy Disc Pro Tour here, I mean, Heidi,
she can bomb it. She can bomb it.
Putting it in circle 1 on a 456-foot hole, flat ground. I mean, she has the distance. Eveliina in a very interesting spot here, in between discs, trying to find some kind of look to get out. Getting close for par. I mean, that's all you can ask for. They're just trying to put yourself in contention
testing
for par.
range just a little bit, but it's better than where she was.
You can see that wind just push it straight down.
Giving it a half bid almost. I think she was like, I'm outside. I'll give it a little bit of a run, but not trying to push too hard.
Yeah, from that distance, she definitely has a chance of making it always with the way that she has that full flight, Anheuser flex putt. Oh, and just right for Eveliina. Gonna find her first bogey here on 3. And Henna with a chance to pick up 2. Just low, never had a chance above the cage. It's tough to be in the position to take so many strokes. That putt becomes a lot more difficult. There's a lot of weight behind it, but she's going to be able to make up.
You got to find the confidence.
Yeah, she's picking up 1 here, which is definitely better than none, but those chances are not going to come often as that's just left. Not enough power behind that for Anna-Sofia.
Good par.
Yeah, even from that distance, drying off the disc, making sure there's nothing that could go wrong. Yeah.
Take your time.
Yeah, it's pretty standard here. I mean, a couple of pars, a couple of bogeys. If you do turn it over too much, trying to bite off a lot, you end up in there. But unfortunate to see our leader take a bogey here. But, I mean, beginning of round 2, I would love to see a charge from Henna.
Her putting's got to get on fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to open up and just find confidence.
Uhkana. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Valitse uusi Huuhkana. Siinä on potkua. Kotipizzasta.
As we come to hole 4, par 4, 476 feet. Really just trying to get to this area where the drone's passing by right now, open up the gap, and then push towards the basket.
Yeah, we saw in round 1 Henna throw a beautiful hyzer flip fairway driver. Just see if she
pushed
can replicate
so far
Yeah.
up that fairway.
A little more height on this, trying to bite off. Oh, and just catching there, but still going to be in a really good spot.
That's the tree that you're going to want to miss right there.
Mm-hmm. But with not a lot left in front of her, open approach, where she'll be able to throw that high spiking hyzer approach she really enjoys doing. So faster disc.
Just a little too much turn. Yeah, just kicks right down in front of that tree.
In round 1 here, Eveliina didn't put enough turn on this, trying to really throw an overstable disc.
But it's also a common mistake you see, though.
Mm-hmm. A little bit shorter than maybe she was expecting to have, but she'll have a straight look at it.
And just off to the left was Anna-sofia. Hopefully
that,
she'll
yeah.
have a look from on that side.
There's that little opening once you get past that initial tree. I just like it slips straight out of the hand. Takes a really interesting kick back to the middle of the fairway, though.
Must have hit a rock or a tree. Just angled up. Opting for the flex forehand.
Yeah, realizing that par is all that's really on the table, just trying to move forwards and maybe give a little bit of a half bid on the approach, but Eveliina just a little bit out of position, having to go to the patent pending here.
It opens up her shot, I think, more. Being able to go that way.
Just too much turn. Really good commitment, knowing that disc so well to be able to put it high,
And
flexing back and
let
letting it land at that farthest it's going to go, and then fall.
Yep.
Such a
It'll be a safe
technical
fall,
shot.
too.
Yeah. Trying to turn it all the way around the left side of the tree. Heidi will be hopefully not blocked off too much by those low-hanging limbs, but her putt kind of has that natural anhyzer, so it should be pretty good as we finally get to Henna's drive in such a good position.
Great approach. She's really dialed on these approaches with that disc.
Yeah, and when the putter's maybe not feeling too hot, that's what has to come into play. If one part of your game's off, the second part of it has to be able to come up, maybe make some room for it. So if she can continue to get those approaches close, it doesn't matter if the putter's not feeling too great. Eveliina in a really interesting spot here, having to go to a knee. Gonna have to keep this nose up the entire way to be able to carry. It's a good bid, but yeah, with the low-hanging limbs, there's not really a high
Not much you can do there.
Yeah. Yeah, just right for Heidi. There we go,
Good
picking
birdie
up the
putt.
birdie, yeah. Picking up another one on the leader. Good spin putt there. Just it's really interesting the way that she putts. It almost feels like she's shorting it, but it has so much rotation coming out of the hand.
It's straight from the chest. It's like, ooh.
Mm-hmm. But it's committed. It has velocity moving forward, so that's
Yeah.
all you really need.
It's a great putt.
And even on this short, 7-8 footer, drying the disc off all the way, making sure nothing can go wrong. Good decision there from Heidi.
Don't need to add an extra element when you can take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Good par for Eveliina.
And we're back to a one stroke on the round, but we're at 3 strokes now. So Henna slowly climbing back. So we move into hole 5, par 3, 289 feet. A hole that can bring difficulty if you don't get through the initial gap, but can also play very simple if you have that powerful forehand, maybe a flex forehand. We saw the backhand attempt, but a tree on the left as you immediately get off the tee, really difficult to beat and have a disc work right. So stand still forehand. If you're feeling confident, that flex forehand, just trying to get all the way down there. Put it close, because if you put it too far on the backside, the low ceiling definitely comes into play, and putting is very difficult.
And we've seen these skip up a little bit, so it's interesting to see what this rain's going to do on the green. Hopefully they stick a little bit. And Henna just early out of the hand.
Immediately reaching for that shoulder, just some frustration. Hopefully there wasn't any pain in that, but definitely thankful she landed straight down, as this looks great from Eveliina.
Yeah, and she gets the right amount of a skip. I mean, she didn't need too much there, but you can see that it's coming into play, so it's going to factor in what you choose.
Yeah, it really depends on the density of that grass. I mean, we grew up playing soccer, so I mean, sometimes the ball would hit the ground, it would skip off the grass and
or
accelerate, or it would stick and stop. You really never knew, but as she hits the tree there, it does skip and stop. It's just very difficult to challenge that left side, but continue forwards. Flex play here.
Higher route. And you can see there, it's just where you hit the grass in the right spot. Does it skip? Does it not? Mm-hmm. But Heidi's going to have an outside circle 1 putt.
Yeah, and she's happy with that, knowing that she can get that putt rolling. But just being with a chance to look for birdie here is so important. Still reaching to that shoulder there is Henna maybe feeling it. Catching a little bit early, going to leave her in that tester range, circle's edge.
That'll be for her par.
So go to Anna-sofia again, having to go to the patent pending. Stepping far enough away there where the backhand shouldn't be able to bring that tree into play, but definitely a touchy shot. Great height. Good nose angle to be able to carry and glide all the way. That's such a good approach there from Anna-sofia.
And she makes the putt.
What a great birdie there from Heidi Laine. Let's run it back with the Koti Pizza slow-mo.
Yeah, you can see the commitment from outside circle 1. Little Anheuser, and just sticks it in the middle.
Yeah, giving it that Anheuser, letting it glide fully straight on, and then knowing the disc well enough where it flexes back. Great birdie. Her first birdie of the round.
You can see the happiness in her. She's always fun to watch.
Yeah. With the distance, with the putting, I mean, if she can get it all to be consistent, definitely a player to be watching for the rest of this tour.
Just hitting it off the top was Henna. She's going to take a bogey here.
Yeah, and if Eveliina can put this in, I mean, that's another 2-stroke swing in our leader's way.
Yep. Great birdie. Great comeback and putting the pressure back again on Henna.
Yeah, it's this momentum switch that feels like it just keeps happening over and over again.
Good par for Anna.
Yeah, that approach was just perfect. I mean, those are the kind of corrections you're going to have to make. The slips are going to happen. The out of your hand, maybe you're under your feet on the tee pad. It's going to happen when the rain has just happened. But when you can correct on that and put yourself close to be able to stop the bleeding on some of these holes, it's so, so important to have that skill and have that mental fortitude to be able to continue on when you do feel off.
Yeah, you want to put it close so you don't have to think about the next putt. And you're like, okay, let's move on to the next one. Let's dissect this next one. Don't worry about this one. As we go into hole 6, par 3, 358. Gonna try to get to this gap. That's the main objective, is getting to this gap. You're going to see a lot of players end up a little bit to the right, stuck in the trees just a tad bit, but they're going to try to go either over the top or in through the gap in the middle.
Yeah, we saw some of our players in round 1 throw a backhand, even just kind of flexing, just getting to the gap, playing it as a 2-shot par 3. But this is the aggressive play if you can get over the top or just know that distance perfectly to flex back. Just
Not a bad shot.
Yeah, just short to be able to get on top all the way and get that forward skip. But a look for birdie here on 6 is a really, really important thing.
This is going to match the hillside. Not too bad. She might have a forehand look into there, or an Anheuser approach.
Oh, and you
yeah,
immediately, you heard it. You could see it, her look straight down, that front foot slipping out. And you see immediately Henna using the left side of the tee pad.
She's like, I'm going to pick a different spot.
Yeah. That's what the turf can do. In that rain, it can get soggy, it can get slippery. It just becomes inconsistent. Really good snap. Fall through, but just catching the last tree.
And that's the mistake you can make, is end up right, but you still have a look at the basket. It's not too far off, but it'll be obstructed.
Yeah, all of our players with, I mean, this is a pretty safe green to be able to give it a confident bid, but definitely going to be birdie very difficult to find. Maybe not for Heidi Laine. That was
she's trying to throw it
close. I mean, we've seen the previous stops here on the tour. I mean, these ladies love to just aggressively approach the basket.
As Anna hits an early tree, but she gets the kick out of the trees.
Mid-circle 2, though. Ugh.
It's a good commit from there. I mean, that's a hard and straddle putt, step out from that distance. You really just want to put it close and let it sit.
And just a little bit too much in that kind of in-between jump putt to not. But with the amount of torque she can get out of that spin putt, that's a really good commitment. Yeah, we're going to see looks for pars, 1 bogey here on 6.
Good putt. Come back for the bogey. It's not something you want, but stop the strokes.
Yeah, being +6 through 6, definitely not in the game plan for Anna-Sofia coming into this round. But, I mean, the difficulty of some of these holes, I mean, when the conditions are right, when the footing feels good, I mean, these are very simple holes through 6. I mean, this is the easier part of the course. But it can get away from you.
Yeah, if you're not watching and taking it seriously, not saying they're not taking it seriously, but taking it as you want to play your golf and commit to the time that it's needed to take your time to make each confident putt.
Yeah. That's definitely where it comes down to, is the putting consistently.
You don't want to rush it. I mean, that's the biggest thing, is you don't want to take yourself out of contention and maybe give you another stroke if you don't take your time. Do your routine. That's the biggest thing that I've heard. Just do your routine and make it a routine putt. I mean,
yeah, and speaking of routine, here on hole 7, par 4, 587 feet, pretty routine drive, just slight hyzer out of the hand, continuing down that fairway, trying to set yourself up to look down the gap.
This is a tough one, trying to get it all the way down there, though.
Yep.
This looks great. Just a little bit right.
Which is an okay spot to be. It's going to open up maybe an Anheuser backhand, but really if you can be middle of these trees, doesn't really matter how far back you are, but if you can have a straight look through the uprights there, I mean, you're really, really going to be in a good spot.
We saw Henna and Eveliina put it almost out that second gap in the first round. And Heidi taking an early tree there, kicking it back into the fairway.
See if Henna can correct. Very aggressive line here. Taking an interesting kind of bounce, not really a skip, but catching maybe a thicker part of mud or grass there and just pushing her to left, but going to be in the best spot of the group so far. Anna-sofia, that is exactly where you want to land. Be able to look straight at the basket through those 2 last trees. We'll get to her drive here in a bit. Goal here for Heidi, just trying to put it to the gap. Getting through it, maybe not an option. She kicks straight down, though, so that should be okay.
It's a tough shot there. You're uphill, trying to get as far as you can out that side. You know you got to put it in a certain range so you have an opening to look at the green of the basket.
It's Eveliina utilizing that forehand, putting her in that circle's edge range. It's best case scenario there, but going to be a tough look for the birdie, but par definitely stress-free if she is maybe not feeling it. Oh, it's so unfortunate after a phenomenal drive. Maybe tries to get a little bit too aggressive catching the last tree.
And Heidi just ended up left, not enough turn to hit that initial gap to get inside that green.
Yeah, and after a very odd kind of skip and a bounce, Henna's left with this step out. Really great result there. I mean, she's
just
so
on the
confident.
edge of the circle
right?
one.
She's so confident from the standstill. We see her go to it all the time. It really lets all the timing line up in her reach back and pull through, and doesn't limit her distance whatsoever. But that's just even more so being in an odd stance.
I mean, go back to hole, was it 17 of round 1?
Mm-hmm.
That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Standstill, just commitment. Eveliina just putting it close, walking away with the par.
Ooh, little step putt. Had the right distance just a little bit low. And Heidi has a line here, but a low ceiling.
Catches it, yeah. Yeah, putting yourself in position with a good putt on these par 4s is so important. Maybe distracted, I mean, immediately turning around. The frustration. Looked like it slipped out of her hand again. And you've stressed it already. I mean, patience on the putting green. Taking that extra moment to dry off the disc. Make sure your hand's in a good spot. Leaning on that dry bag, that towel that we all need to find. But finding pars is not a bad thing. I mean, after awkward position, but with a look for birdie, you know that she was wanting it.
No doubt. And Heidi here cleaning up her bogey. As we go to hole 8, par 4, 614 feet, definitely want to miss the tree on the left there. Avoid the OB long and push as far as you can down this fairway. And then you'll have a second shot. Tends to, we've seen a lot of players leak to the left and end on the other side.
Just overcorrecting.
It's overcorrecting, but it's not too terrible, but you will have an uphill putt coming back at it. But the initial is definitely passing this, and Eveliina has no problem of passing that gap.
Yeah, being on the left side of the fairway.
I've seen a lot of players struggle with trying to just get out.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. You don't think it would be that far to that initial shrub to get to that open spot.
Yeah, what tends to happen here is the out of bounds comes into your mind, so you don't want to push it too straight, so then you end up sawing it off, catching that early. I mean, it's such a great tee position where it brings a lot of things into the mind that shouldn't be. I mean, that shrub really isn't in the way.
No, it's not. You have so much room to hyzer back.
Right,
to the
but when the
left.
thoughts in your mind of, oh, if I turn this too much, I have to kind of keep it inside.
Yes.
You tend to pull it in. But we have great drives so far, getting around it, putting yourself in position to attack. And when you can make that, I mean, you're only looking at, maybe 300, 350 feet on the approach. So definitely a doable distance for our players here. Trying to get through, just catching the top.
Got through, though.
Yeah, going to be
She'll
a
have
long
a little bit
approach.
safe footing instead of being inside of that shrub.
Yeah. Definitely going to be more of an uphill, really long shot, though, when you do catch it.
Yeah, for Anna, you were looking at 400 plus uphill. And Eveliina, you know she's going for the green here.
See if this grass wants to skip or if it wants to catch. A little bit of both, but puts her just inside the circle, but she will be obstructed, it looks like, with that one tree. It's kind of a mean basket placement, just being right next to it.
Changes it up a little bit.
Yeah, when you have that one tree inside the circle, it really affects these approaches.
You want to be on the left side, really.
Definitely.
Or the back side.
Push too long, though, and you definitely have the low ceiling come into play, so...
You can see Henna here just putting it underneath the basket.
Basing it.
What a great shot.
Yep. Definitely going to have a guaranteed birdie here on 8. Heidi looking to match.
Just needs to skip. Yeah, I mean, she's going to be on edge of circle 1, putting a little bit back uphill.
The distance that she's already shown that she has. Just short there for Anna-sofia. Going to have a tester outside the circle. Her spin putt should be no problem. That tree not really in the way.
It looks like the wind has calmed down a good bit.
Thankfully, the weather overall looks like it's kind of chilled out.
Just sailing it a little bit too long. Going to be another tester coming back towards the basket.
Similar distance here for Heidi.
Yeah, outside of that circle 1. Yeah.
She is dialed, running it down.
Another great birdie.
Yeah, it's 2 from that edge of circle, that circle 2, padding the stats, putting her in a great position.
And Eveliina following suit.
Offset stance, but still being able to have a consistent stroke. Really good putt.
She's 4 down.
Yeah, 2 down on the round on the front 9. I mean, that's huge. If she can continue on that, I mean, there's no stopping. I mean, that lead is just going to continue. But Henna finally putting herself in position for birdie, but of course it's on a hole where Eveliina maybe is a little bit out of position, but still
makes the putt.
Yeah. Speaking of making putts, it's a really good comebacker for the bogey. And you can see the body language frustration there for Anna-sofia in search of a birdie here. Henna finding birdie on 8, but 1 hole left on the back 9. And it's going to be a 200-foot par 3 triple mando. Pretty difficult to miss the mandatory here with some of those trees guarding you on the left and right, but there is a tree dead center of it. It tends to pull discs right towards it, but being 200 feet, the mistake is going to be pushing it too long and finding the out of bounds just outside the circle on the backside, or putting it a little bit too low.
So Eveliina hits early. I don't know if I think she got past the mando.
I don't know. It looked like it kind of rolled back. She didn't miss it, so hopefully it didn't kick too far left where that mandatory becomes up. But you can see this mud slowly creeping onto the tee pad, maybe finding some footing. But only 200 feet shouldn't be too much of a task. Similar result. So rare to not see players make it all the way through that gap. Yeah. Heidi to try to set the tone. Disking up, wanting that skip.
Smart play. After seeing Eveliina and Henna hit early.
Yeah, and you can see how close the out of bounds is there on the bottom right of your screen. And this is more the line you're looking for here.
And you just want to hit that little skip ground play up to the basket, put you in contention for a birdie.
And this is that weird, like, tweener range of, like, almost a jump putt, but still a throw. Just need to put this close.
Just a little bit left.
Yeah, maybe forced
I don't
to a
think she's
straddle with that one bush. Yeah,
she
she'd be
might
okay.
be.
Definitely obstructed here, having to make the mandatory still.
Yeah, they both definitely hit early and just kicked right down.
Going forehand roller, maybe.
I like to see it.
If she can get the nose up on a turnover forehand, it's probably a better play. Yeah. Really good touch.
That's all you need there.
Yeah, what a display of forehand prowess. I mean, yeah, that's bringing that forehand roller is maybe a little bit too much as we go to Heidi for birdie.
Just getting over the basket.
When the putter's hot, the putter's hot.
2 in a row.
Yeah. Really great way to finish there. Heidi Laine, always a show here. Excited to see how she's going to attack the back nine.
And Anna, her first birdie, she cards it on the last hole.
Yeah,
on the
take
first
that
nine.
momentum and continue on into the back half of this second round.
Yeah.
And she is going to have to go to a very odd stretch out here.
Good par.
Yeah, from that distance, not too much to worry about, but finishing out with a par, Eveliina to do the same.
And that'll do it for the front nine of round 2. I mean, Eveliina, -4.
Yeah, we're officially halfway through this tournament. And I mean, with a 5-stroke lead, half the holes
I think
played.
she's pretty comfortable, but
Yeah.
the back nine can put some numbers on you.
Yeah, we'll see if that wind wants to pick back up. Let's check in with our leaderboard. Olivia Kienstedt jumping into that 4th spot with 2 strokes over Anna-Sofia. And it's a pretty big separation once you get past that top 5. But really the story here is, you know, that 3rd to 4th, 5th spot, we'll see who's going to be chasing to be staying on the lead card or maybe jump into it. Here on moving days, we get the thumbs up. Whether maybe playing more of a factor in the back nine, we're going to find out.
We can hope that they can play and take less bogeys.
Yeah, it's always the goal here. We'll see you on the back nine here at round 2. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Parked Podcast. My name is Mitch Phillips.
And I'm Hayden Riccard.
And we'll see you for the back nine here at round 2.